Hello. All right, so we are going to get started on this horse. I'm working on a Fredericks 16 by 20 stretched canvas. It's primed. It's their blue label, and I love Fredericks canvases. I'm not sponsored by anybody, but I do. They've got to have the best canvases out there as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so for colors, this is going to be a very kind of simple palette. We're going to be using titanium white, unbleached titanium white, some phthalo green, some Windsor blue. You can use ultramarine blue if you wanted to, or even a phthalo blue. These are going to be for my background. Yellow oxide or yellow ochre, and then burnt umber and some Mars black. We will get some red out when we do the nose, and that's gonna, I'll just go ahead. I'm just gonna use crimson. Yeah, I think like an alizarin crimson. I'm using Winsor Newton Galleria, and it just says crimson on here, so that's probably what I'll use. I have my drawing sketched out, and I will have the line drawing for this on my Patreon account. The link will be listed below. For just $1 a month, you have access to all of my line drawings and reference photos that I use that I'm allowed to share. So let's see. To get started, I think I'm going to work on the blue. So we're going to get, and my big palette has oil paints on it. If you follow along, I'm working on what's it called? It's kind of early in the morning here. It's a carousel horse that I'm working on that is done in acrylics with an oil overlay. And I'm waiting for that to dry. I thought it would be dry, but our weather changed and I got very cold in my studio. I didn't have a heater on, so my paints did not dry. So I had to kind of quickly come up with what I was going to work on today, because I hate to just I'm off today, so I hate to let a whole day go by without spending some time in my studio. So I decided, I always have kind of a folder of projects I want to work on. So this was one of them that was in that folder, and so I decided I would just work on him today. So I've got titanium white, Windsor blue, burnt umber, and if I can get these lids open, my goodness. And Mars black, just a little bit. So anyway, I was saying my palette has all my oil paints on it, and since the oil paints are still wet, I didn't want to remove them. And I'm going to mist my palette with my little mister. That just kind of helps keep everything wet while I work. So we're going to take a little bit of the Windsor blue and a lot of this. Oops, this little palette's going to give me fits, I can tell. And I'm getting some of the burnt umber, just a little bit of the burnt umber to kind of gray that blue up a little bit. This is actually a palette I use for watercolors, but it's what I have handy, so I'm just gonna make it work. I need some other colors to mend in here. There we go. Paintbrushes are in the way over here. So I want to make sure that I've got a good line over here, so I can go over my line. I don't have a problem doing that, just so I can make sure that my paints go all the way up to the horse's mane. So I want to go over that to make sure. Some blues in here. I want this sky to have a little bit of interest back here. So I want some what that is. Get that off of there. Something that was on my palette, dried paint or something. Okay, and we're going to kind of do the same thing over here. Oh, this palette's going to drive me insane. I need it jumping all over the place. I need to get something to put underneath here so this will stop jumping around on me. Now, let me go grab something to put under this palette real fast. I also needed we will see if that will work better. Now I'm rinsing my brush. And we are going to get a little bit of the phthalo green. And some oxide, yellow oxide. I'm going to add some more of this titanium white. Yeah, that's still not going to stay still for me, is it? See if I wet all this stuff down, if that'll help. Sometimes wetting it down will kind of make everything stick. Make sure you can see everything. Okay. I'm cleaning my brush because I'm going to put it aside. Let me grab, let's see. Well, okay, we'll try this round blender and just see how we like that. Let's mix up. Yeah, that's gonna work. So I added some titanium white to this, just to lighten that up a little bit so that the stuff on the back of the heel up here is a little whiter, lighter, I think. And then it could actually go even a little lighter than that. More of a, like a yellow, there we go. We're just gonna just add that on there because we want that to be a distance. And drag that down. Pick up some color as we come down a little bit. And we want this just a kind of blurry background. Could be some, whoops, some dark spots out there. Just trying to get several colors going here. And I may just use a brush to kind of blend this all out a little bit. And I just lightly, I'm just using this kind of as a blender brush, and I'm just very, very lightly going over these areas to blend them out, and then wiping it off on a paper towel. And as we get closer, we're going to want to deepen some of the color up. Right in here, it looks like it's going to get a lot darker. So let me deepen up a color here. So right in here, it's a little darker. Kind of right in. Making sure to go all the way up to the horse's body. In this case, it'd be the nose. Okay. And you know, every time you reload your brush, make sure to kind of change up the color a little bit so that you get some variety. And just changing it up a little bit, you know, adds some interest. You can see I've got a little bit more brown over here. And as we get further down, we want to add more color, brighten the color up just a little bit. You know, you want your colors further away to be darker, but every once in a while you want to throw in something to cause some interest back here. You don't want distinct shapes. You just want some nondescript scenery changes back here. And I'm just using this blender brush and dabbing the colors in. And right now, like, these colors are super wet, so, but these are starting to kind of tack up a little bit. They're starting to set up. So as they start to set up is another good time to go in and kind of, you can use this brush that I was using for blending. You can kind of blend this out. Don't wait too long, because it'll cause problems. It won't blend as well. And I don't want to blend it out with this brush that I'm using now, because it will make mud. So I'm just get some more. And right here in the corners, I like to kind of vignette my corners, so we'll just add a little bit of dark and some interest, but I definitely want my corners to be dark. Break up. I'm going to add a little dark just to break up this spot right here. There. I think that looks really good. Alright, I may go a little bit lighter back here. Let me see if I can lighten this up. There we go. I just want this to be just a little bit lighter. I'm going to add a little bit more interest back there. Let's blend that in. Oh, I think that looks really good. Okay. I'm going to clean out my brush, and then I may add just a couple clouds back here. I got to clean out this brush though, because it's the one I'm going to use. I do have another one. I think I'll just let's see if I can find my other one. Sometimes it's just easier to use the same paintbrush for me, because finding paintbrushes sometimes it's not the easiest thing. They get, oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, I found it. So I'm still using the blender brush, and I'm going to add a little white and just see if I can't just add a little bit of interest back here, maybe a little bit of something back here. Where's my thing? Should have little supports underneath there that kind of, I'm going to have one that kind of goes back behind this horse's head. Alright. I'm going to rinse that out. And then I'm going to dry it really well. And then I'm going to, over here, just see if I can't just soften this up a little bit. Alright, that's gonna work. Alright, so we'll just call that complete. Now we're gonna get started on our horse. And first I'm gonna block in the colors. I need to make sure that I don't think anybody is trying to get in touch with me that our store is closed today, so I shouldn't be getting too many interruptions. Shouldn't. Okay, now for the horse, now I know my palette is like all taken up with the background, but I think I can just mix something on here that's over this color. So I want, if you notice that the horse, he's a gray, right? So you'd think you're going to use blacks and whites, but we have to put a dark layer down first so that the white shows up on top of it. And we can get that fur-like consistency. So we're going to block in some of the dark colors first. And we need like a really dark and then a lighter. So he's going to be kind of darker up here in areas, and probably where this mane is. We'll use some dark colors in here. And then over in here, we'll definitely go along the top of the head. This is the ear area, so we definitely want some dark in here. And some lighter colors. I'm gonna block it in so that we kind of know where the darks and lights are already on the body. And some of this darker colors. It's got kind of some rippling in his, whoops, what is my camera doing? I need to turn the autofocus off on my camera, so give me just a second. Okay, I think that's better. I don't wear my glasses to paint, so sometimes it's hard for me to see exactly what's going on. Okay, so we know this area is going to be kind of dark. This is the ear, and then this is kind of the inside of the fold of the ear right here. That, and that part of the ear. So we're just blocking in and it's just a, this is kind of, what we call the ugly stage. Kind of the uglier stage of this. And then the mane is going to be over here. And I'm going to, let's see, how are we going to want this to go? Kind of like that. So this is the mane, and it goes down to about right in here. So that's going to be the mane area. Like I said, we're just blocking in, so I'm not worried about brush strokes and following. This has got to come way up here. But I don't want to just block this in just a flat gray color all over everywhere. You want your undercoats, your base coats, to reflect kind of what's going on with the coloring. It's going to help a lot more if your undercoat isn't just a flat color. So remember, as the light bounces through all of your layers of paint, oops, that's got some blue in it. All of those, it bounces through and reflects off all those different layers. That's what helps give dimension. So as I paint this, I'm going to try to, kind of keep up with where the darks and lights are on this pony. This isn't a pony, this is definitely a horse. But it's just a baby. And then I have a bad glare over here that I have to kind of compensate for. So we know that this gets dark right through here and kind of comes down. So I'm just kind of wiggling my brush, making this area darker. And then there's another area right here that gets dark. And there's kind of a dark spot right there. And then there's another section that gets kind of dark. And that's going to come all the way down here. So now we can just kind of paint inside all of this. And we're going to have some lights, some light areas that we need to paint in, and then we're going to have some dark areas we're going to want painted in. So we're going to have some darks and the wrinkles and stuff, so kind of get that kind of painted in here. And then this, it's going to be light on the inside of this jaw and dark on the other side of the jaw. That's kind of looking, this area should be lighter. So really kind of think of it like a road map. We're just trying to road map where our darks and lights are. I just painted my camera stand over here by accident. And I did kind of mist my canvas to help spread this paint. It just spread well. So now we've got some areas of on his neck blocked in well. So let's see, we've got this area is going to be lighter. So I want to make sure that this gets done in it. And then this area is going to be dark for sure. Let me make sure that's in darker. Okay. This area I want darker. I got a little bit too much water right here, so, but that's okay. This area definitely needs to stay lighter right in here. Okay. And then we have an area right here that we want to stay light. And then we need an area here that's going to be darker. And this area is going to be dark, and so is this area. Okay. Oh, we didn't paint this part of the green. Oh, ding dong. Yeah, this whole area is supposed to be green, so we're gonna have to fix that. I am not going to block in yet. And there should be like a distinct dark, like right along in here. This is dark. It goes like that. This area is dark. That'll be dark. And this is like where a vein in the face is popping up. So we'll just take it to here. This area should be darker. I'm just scrubbing paint into the canvas. That way I don't have a lot of paint on the canvas, and it's scrubbed into the weave, so we don't have white spots. So I can kind of guarantee that the whole canvas is covered. So I can see some white spots on this side that I'm probably gonna have to hit with some color. Okay, so all of this is pretty dark, and this comes down to about right in here. And then this area seems to be really dark. And then there's kind of a white area around this. Okay, so we got the majority of that kind of blocked in. I am going to go back and do this section right here that's supposed to be green, so it needs to kind of match this area. Get this paintbrush cleaned off real well. Okay, so I'm going back to this is a number 12 Princeton Select Round Blender. I'm going to get a little bit of water, see if I can't reactivate some of this. It's kind of thick, so maybe it won't be so dry. There we go. Just making sure that the little white areas are filled in. Get some of this color out here. Not real happy with that. Okay, I feel like that fits better. Okay. Clean this brush out. So now I'm taking some brown and some black. And we are going to start, that's still wet. So we are just going to block in this eye. And the thing with this eye is there's those white eyelashes are going to come down in this area. So this is where the eyelashes are going to come down, which kind of makes it hard to see. So that's where the eyelashes are going to go. They're for sure not going to go this far down. It's gonna. So the rest of the eye is really, this is all going to be blocked in dark. And there's going to be some areas where there's some light area, like right in here, and then right in here there's something light. There's a speck of light there. I'm just kind of road mapping out kind of what we've got going on here. Below the lashes right in here is going to get lighter. There's like a reflection on that eye. It's going to be right back in here. And then she's going to have all this coming off like this. These white eyelashes things. So again, I'm just kind of road mapping this out. So there's going to be some wrinkles and stuff going up like that. Looks like actually they're more wrinkled this way in the front. It looks like they come back together, so they need to be more like this. So so they're more like that, but more rounded. Okay. We'll get that all kind of figured out. And then there's some coloring that goes down here. That's dark. Right around in there. And all this skin's kind of, fill that all in here. So I'm warming up that gray a little bit by using some of this burnt umber around the eye. There's going to be some warmer colors down here. And then some colors up here. Alright, so now we've got all that kind of blocked in. And over here, so now we need to block in some of this. And I think I'm going to use okay, so I need some yellow ochre back on my palette. More black. I've still got white. And I'm going to try to work on, let's see, how far do I need to go? So you can see the top. Okay, so I'm going to try to work on this here. And I need some that's mixed in with a little bit of burnt umber. Okay, now that I've got him blocked in, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'll come back in and start working on the details. Okay, so everything's dry, and I did kind of draw in with a chalk pencil a little bit around my eye so that I could work on this a little bit. I wasn't real happy with it, so while my canvas is drying, I did work on that. So now I'm going to work on her muzzle nose area. And I'm getting some of the crimson. Oops, well, that was a lot. I did not need that much. And I think I am going to just use my number 6 round blender for this part. And again, I'm just going to be blocking it in. So we just need get a little paint here. Let's see, we'll put it up here. Get some white. Just a little bit of, and really a little bit of the yellow might be good. Let me move my water because I feel like I moved my lights around and I think it's let's see. Now this is picking up some of that charcoal, not charcoal, but chalk pencil. I'm okay with that because I'll just go, watch out because my door may slam here in a second. It just blew open. It got real hot in my studio, so I opened my door and we got a little bit of a breeze today. I am going to have to, after this dries, I will go over it again to cover up the chalk. It's catching that black chalk, and I'll have to go over this again. But right now I just want to get this kind of mapped in. Go down like this. Actually, this should end about right there. Put this in. Okay, I'm going to have to bring some of my green in. It should, the green needs to come to about right there. I don't even know if you can see that. And I'm going to bring this out. Yeah, this needs to come out to about right here. I'm just scooching that edge out into about right up here. to right there, all the way down to about here. And then this area, this area needs to be white, the same peachy color. That's going to come down. This color, like that. There should be about a dark spot right in here. Right there. And then some dark spots right in here. There's some dark areas. We'll just mush that up like that. I'll just kind of blend this in. It's kind of a, let's add a little bit more red to that. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that nose. Okay, so there's kind of the pinkish muzzle with a little bit of the black showing up around here. Let's move that up. Just kind of dance that in there a little bit. And then we have this area needs to be dark. That kind of that. This needs to kind of go up in here like this a little bit. Okay. Then we've got to get some more, get some green out here. Just a skosh, just a tad bit of green. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of the, this is phthalo green, blue shade, some of the yellow. A little more yellow. Let's see what color this is. That's a little bit, it's a little bit bright, so I'm going to dull it down with a little brown. So a little bit. Okay, so we're just gonna dance this color in right in here, and we'll blend this out this way a little bit. because that is kind of bright right there. So let's see. Yeah, we'll just have to work on this. But that gets that blocked in, gets that covered up like it's supposed to be. We may try to go a little I feel like it needs to be a little bit more. They want a lot of this color in there. I'm just going to lighten this up back here a little bit in some areas. I'm going to leave some of the dark, but I'm going to kind of lighten some of this up a little bit. Okay. Okay, and we need some dark area right in here. This, we're missing this part. Okay. Looks good. All right. Now I do need to get some more of this. This all needs to be mapped in. I'm using a mixture of black, brown, and a little bit of white just to lighten that up a little bit, and we'll go ahead and get this in there. A little bit more white to that, and do this area right here. I'm just swirling this to get it blended in good. I'll lighten that up a little bit. Let's see, this needs to come down. Okay, so we've got that piece that goes inside and it comes out this way, and then this is going to be lighter. All the way around. And just get that kind of mapped in. And it's going to come out here. Okay. And then this area, this is gonna kind of come back in here. Okay. All right. Now let's move some of this over. Find my, this is my angle brush. It's a number 4 angle brush by Royal and Langnickel. And let's finish blocking in this eye. Let's figure out, okay, so this part, I think what we needed to do was bring this up a little bit. And then bring this in. This area is the black part. And then we need some dark gray part. And that's going to be kind of this area right here. And then we have some more black area right in here. And this area. Yeah, I think I just needed to widen out that eye a little bit. Because this area is pretty wide. Okay. And then this is kind of going to go down like that. It's going to intersect this round. It's going to intersect like right in there. Yep, and that's how that's going to go. And then this is going to kind of fade up. And it's going to be kind of round down there. We'll work on that a little bit. And then there's like a lighter spot there. There really isn't a white, there isn't a spot in there, but we may add one. We'll see. I don't like that. Sometimes when you're doing an eye that doesn't have the sparkle in it, you gotta work on that. Looks a lot better. Okay. So I'm just trying to work on where these areas are. This area right here is going to be lighter, and then there's another little spot here, and then we get up into the eyelashes where they start to come down, and then that's where the eyelashes are going to be. So I made those little spots, and then we're going to take the edge of our brush and we're just going to circle those, you know, kind of smear them out a little bit. We just want them lighter there, but we don't want them distinct. Okay, perfect. Then this area, I'm just going to get some brown, mix it in with my black. And we're going to push this up a little bit. There we go. Yeah. And then there's a brighter white right in here. Okay. And I feel like this edge is too high. I feel like it needs to kind of come down a little bit. And we may have to bring this, kind of chisel this all down just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to drop this dark edge down just a little. Maybe even just a little bit more to where it starts to blend into the eyelashes. There we go. Yeah. So by doing that, I'm going to blend this back out so it's not so dark. There we go. And I may build this out just a little bit on this side. And then I think we need to drop this down just a little over here. And this can be lighter back here. This is actually going to be kind of a dark gray right there. It's all going to be kind of dark. I feel like this needs to come down a little. It needs to come out and then really kind of come down. I feel like that needs the inside. This area needs to follow this down better. And I'm just taking, and I'm just barely dipping my bristles into the paint, just picking up a little bit of paint and then just dabbing it onto the canvas. I can always work that in if it's too much. Which I think it is, so we're gonna and by I'm kind of pouncing on it into the canvas, and that kind of breaks it up and it starts blending in to the wet colors on there. Oop, I think I just got paint on my face. Okay, and then I feel like this needs to be darker right above here. Yep. And then right here needs to be just a little bit darker. Break that up a little. Yep. We're going to kind of go right along where it's this light edge, and we're going to bring it down, narrow it up just a little bit. There we go. And then I think right here it needs to be dark. Break that line up. And darken this up, shorten that light spot. There we go. Now I'm gonna remove the black off my wash your paintbrush. And I'm gonna dip my paintbrush, just barely picking up any white along there. So I have just a little line of white on the toe of that brush, and I am going to drop this white edge down just a little bit. I'm going to work it around like like that, and then I'll blend it in. Yeah, okay. So now let me take some black and go on top of that to drop it down a little. Yeah. I do need to feather that out just a tad. So I'm gonna come up here, and with the tip of that brush, I'm gonna see if I can't just feather this out just a little bit. It didn't really feather, did it? Let me get some and make up some gray here, and we'll try to feather it out this way. I feel like it needs to come out this way a little bit. I'm overdoing it a little so that I can go back in with the black. I brought it in too far on purpose so that, oh, don't look at my hair. So that I can try to feather that back in. There we go. And this area needs to be dark. Right here in the center, this should be dark. And then this area right here needs to have a hint of blue on it. So I'm just gonna touch that down there, because I need just ever so slightly some blue and white. Oh, there's too much black on my paintbrush. I'm gonna clean my paintbrush. And I'm using this paintbrush because this is what I have out, and I'm just too lazy to switch. But you can use, like a flat or just whatever you want. I just happen to be, okay, this is gonna be way too much. Yeah, that's way too much. Okay, so now we're going to rinse our paintbrush again, and then we'll start backing this off, taking some of that off. And it's really just supposed to be right in that edge right there. There we go. And I feel like this corner is gonna have to come in some too. I need to just round out this eye. That's a little better. Like that stand out a little. Okay, we'll sit on that for a minute. I need to get some of this and have an edge here that is missing a spot of paint. Okay. All right. Now we still need eyelashes, and I have some water on my... Why is this? There we go. All right, so we've got everything kind of mapped in now. So now we are going to grab a rake brush. I'm going to grab two of them, my two kind of go-to. I have a 1/8 roll in lang nickel. This is a wisp or a rake. And this one is a 1/4 inch royal. Oh, it's a royal Aqualon wisp. So they're both Aqualon. Yeah, this is 1/8, this is 1/4 royal Aqualon wisp. It's hard to read it. So I think we're going to start around the eye. So we need some black, and we don't want to, I don't want to mix this up thoroughly. I want it to have some white and some gray showing. Let me just see. I think it probably needs to be darker than that. I think. We're going to go right up here. And remember, you want to go with the growth of the hair, which this is so short, it really can't even tell what the growth is. So I'm just kind of dabbing at it. Like it could even be darker. Almost black. I want it to almost blend in with that area above it as we work it down. There we go. Okay, a little bit more. Let's just dab some in there. There we go. And we will, as we dab, it'll darken as it blends in. There we go. That's better. So it starts out real light, but as we kind of work on it, it blends in with the paint that's kind of wet underneath it. There we go. We're going to drop this down. We're going to keep coming down with that. Add a little bit more white. Seems to be lighter. And we're just dabbing at it right here because this paint, I mean, not the paint, but the hair in this area is so short that it doesn't really show a hair growth direction. Right here, it's just a tad bit lighter. So I want to add that. And then we're going to have another area where there's kind of a line kind of coming from here, coming down. And this paintbrush, that almost needs to be a line. I'm gonna, oops, that's way too much paint. I'm gonna kind of just indicate that. It may need to come down over here. I'm going to indicate that line right there. With just the tip of that angle brush is what I used for that. And then I'm going to darken right above it. There we go. And you see, I'm just kind of going back and forth with the same paintbrush. Go. Let's kind of dab on some more paint. We're gonna keep working this out, keep coming down. And again, I'm still just dabbing at the paint, or at the canvas, sorry. And here is that vein in the face. So to about right here, this is all gonna need to just be kind of dabbed on. The growth on this, the hair growth on this part of the face is very, very short. And dab the black and then dab some white into it, and that'll darken up as that white blends in with that black underneath. But it'll give it some dimensions, some variety in that color. It's not just a flat gray. There's grays and brown, or whites and blacks in there. To get some variety, you need to, reload your paintbrush occasionally. Need some more black. Okay. There's kind of a dark spot right in here, and then another one kind of like right there. There's another one kind of up here. Keep loading this around. So we have here, and this is going to be a little bit lighter through here. Make that just a tad lighter. And then it's going to get just a tad darker right through here. And then right around in here is when we're going to start seeing some hair growth. So keep it. And if you start getting kind of like spots like that, then you may want to clean your paintbrush. Or go with try a different size. I just need to get some of the black, I think, out of mine. You can see the canvas is actually kind of bouncing as I'm doing this. Now I'm going to go over it with some black. And you can try, you know, whatever kind of paintbrush you want to. I do kind of recommend a rake brush, but you can, whatever kind of rake brush. I have a bunch of them. I just like these because they're a little stiffer. How I splash water on my canvas all the time. Missed my paints just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to keep trying to just get paint on my canvas here, and I'll worry about making sure everything looks good in a minute. I really just want to kind of get a move on with this. Let me try. I'm going to try my bigger. Just trying to see which brush I want to use. I think I'm going to just stick with this 1/4 inch for right now. And you want to keep checking your work. You know, step back if you can. I can't really, I mean, I can move back, but I'm kind of tethered to my computer, so I can't step back too far. So what I use is, I use the cameras to kind of see where I'm at. But I would definitely recommend rolling away from your canvas, stepping away from your canvas. I'm in a rolling chair, that's why I said that. You know, you need to get like at least 6 feet away, because most pictures, when they're hung on the wall, there's furniture in front of them, so it's pushing the viewer about 6 feet away at least from the picture when it's hung on a wall. So that's where you want to view it, is at least 6 feet away, so you know what it's going to look like when it's on the wall. It always looks, to me, the painting always looks funny up close. I always think they look terrible when I look at my paintings up close, because you can see every little brush stroke in it. Sometimes those brush strokes don't make a lot of sense until you back away. Now as we move further up and down, we're going to start getting some little brush strokes, so we need to start kind of paying attention to that and putting that in. And these from here, let's see, this is going to have a dark ridge on it, and then it's going to get a little lighter, and we're going to have a dark, and then we have this area which is has a little hint of a little lighter too. So I'm going to keep working my way up and checking my reference photo to make sure that I'm paying attention to my darks and light areas. This is the light. And right here, the hair is going to kind of grow this way and that way. So it's going to go this way and that way. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that hair growth up here. And actually that's way, it's way too so it's actually going to kind of go both, but it's very short, so don't make it long or it's going to make it look poofy. I'm just darkening. I'm putting some dark paint down here. This is not, I'm just putting some dark paint so that my light paint, my whites will and light grays will show up on here better.